Yep.
We're live.
What's going on, everyone? It's Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. In this show, we're doing round four DFS Showdown targets the 2021 American Express. If you haven't already subscribed, now is a great time to do so. Smash the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Craig, let's jump into the leaderboard.
I mean, don't smash
Because
it too hard. Like, don't damage your computer or your mouse or something, or your phone, whatever you're using.
I'll do with authority.
Yeah,
Authority.
leaderboard. Some serious scores out there. -8 was low, but a bunch of guys were -7. We got a pretty nice group of three leaders. Homa, Kim, Finau. I think that's going to be exciting to watch those three. But then, we got a good chase pack too. We got, what, 19 guys are within 4 strokes?
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of talking a little bit off air. So before we get into it, who's your pick to win and what is the winning score?
I've got Max Homa, and I've got him at 21, -21.
Oh, you took my number. You took my number from me.
Number, but not the play?
No, obviously my play is Siwoo Kim. He's my one and done.
Yeah.
I have him outright at 50 to 1. I mean, he's my boy.
Colts
Big
fans,
Colts
Colts
fan.
fans got you, got you as well.
Colts fan. No worries. I saw that on Twitter. Hopefully that helped. We're going to go into our plays here in a little bit. But I mean, we were talking. So the scoring average has been about 1 to 1.5 strokes under par on the stadium course. We've seen top scorers 7 a couple times, 3 a couple times, 8 a couple times. I think everyone T13 is still in play.
I think -11. I mean, the thing is they have to do something special, because
Yeah, oh yeah,
it's not just how
absolutely.
far back they are; it's how many people are between them and the lead. So
Yeah,
if it's one person who's out there 4 strokes ahead of them, then one person falters a bit. But when you have so many guys there and you're 4 back, you have to do a lot of work. So maybe 63, 62, 64 if conditions are tougher.
yeah,
But yeah, they'll have to do something special. I think more realistically, 12, 13. I think those guys are very good shots. And the other thing is
for
this:
sure.
there's so much volatility on this course just because of all the water.
All the water. I mean, an hour into broadcast today, I thought Sung Jae was going to run away with it. He gets a couple in the drink. I mean, ended up, I think, +1 on the day. He misses birdie putt on 18.
Yeah, I think it was Trevor Immelman who was really hard on him for that decision to take the hybrid on his
Hi,
second
yeah.
or his third shot, I guess. But I totally agree with that. That was nonsense.
Yeah, there's so much water. The closing holes are exciting. It's going to be just for a golf fan. It's going to be really fun
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Um, yeah, looking at tomorrow. So the other thing that I think is really fun is if you look at the wind, we've
Yeah,
got this period 3, 4, 5 p.m., which is about when people are finishing playing, that 17th hole, that 16th hole where you can't go down to the left into that deep
for
bunker.
sure.
You can't go
Yeah,
long, you can't go right. So there's a huge amount of volatility until this thing's done.
yeah. So, I mean, what do you think? Like, are you avoiding? So the leaders go off, I believe, at 12 local. Oh, sorry, 11 local.
So, I mean,
They,
I still think you need to have some guys up there just because we're on the Sunday. So you do get bonus points for the finishing positions. But I think don't be afraid to pair them with people who are, a little bit for. Oh, so it's inside out. So don't be afraid to pair them with people you like who are, though that 5, 6 numbers from yesterday, I think it's more like 8, 9 ish around there that should be the first guy's teeing off.
yeah. I mean, I think because the scoring is so low, again, I'm looking for guys kind of contrarian plays that can go low. If I can get someone in the middle of the pack that can go 6 under, even like if I'm a great round of 7 under, I think they're going to outperform most of the leaders if the leaders go 3 or 4, just purely on birdies, birdie
And
streak
ownership. So like
chances, and
everyone
ownership.
who is around the lead is going to have crazy ownership. Um, yeah. Well, yeah. Should we jump into it?
Yeah, I like that comment from Big Colts fan. Watching it, the PG golf at PGA West over conference champions.
So the one
Yeah,
thing I should throw out there, our older brother Kevin has Max Homa at I think 125 to 1. Is that right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's going to be cheering hard for him. I mean, he's the biggest Max Homa fan out there. He'd take him as his sleeper every week if
He's
he
a
could.
homer.
Yeah.
I think the only reason he didn't is because we make fun of him for
We
doing
make
it.
fun
But
of him because all he would do is take Homa as his sleeper.
yeah.
Okay, let's jump
Okay,
into
jumping
it.
into it. Patrick Cantlay is my first pick, 10,400. He's right below Finau. I feel like up top, there's not that many ways to be creative, and I actually think Cantlay is if you leave salary on the board. If you leave enough salary that you could get Finau, I think people would force Finau in. So Cantley's been up and down, 69, 71 on the stadium, 65 today. He's 11 under,
With
great
an
round
out of
finish.
bounds.
With it out of bounds, a spray on 11 or on 17, sorry.
Well, his
Like
17. It would be 8.
8.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. 18 birdies, 5 bogeys, 1 double, 6 in strokes gained TD Green on Saturday, plus 3.18. Looking at his last 2 days, though, he's played 8 par 5s. He's only even on them. And that includes his 65 today because he's had a double before. He bogeyed that one today. He's only even. So he's not capitalizing on the scoring opportunities like he can be. So he can go even lower than he has before. I think it's a really good pivot off Finau. When I ended the broadcast, because I've been talking about Siwoo, I mean, all week, I thought I was going to put Siwoo here, but I just don't like who he's around. And I think a lot of people will go Finau. A lot of people will go Siwoo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still playing. Like my lineups are still going to have Finau and Siwoo and Homa.
100%.
It's just you have to accept that you need to be looking elsewhere as well. You can't just
You're
have.
not going to have 100% of them. I 100% agree
Yeah,
with you.
yeah. But I think Cantlay's a good pivot. Probably his round today will make bring his ownership a little bit higher, just because it was all over the broadcast how well he was playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it. I'll have him for sure. I don't know what my exposure will be yet. My first one here, I'm going Brian Harman, guy that I feel like I bring him up every week. 8,600. He's minus 13. He's been 68, 68, 67. So he's played well every day. The 68 and the 67 are in the stadium course. 17 birdies, 2 bogeys, 2 doubles. Look back at his history at the stadium course. There's a couple rounds where it's not the best, but when you think about how volatile this course is, that I'm not, that doesn't crush me. The 73 in 2019, and then a 72 back in 2016. But he's got a couple 65s, he's got a few 69s. So I just have a feeling that he's going to go out. He's playing really well right now, really consistent.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go out there and he's going to shoot 68, 67, 66, maybe if he gets a little bit more hot. I think his floor to me feels like 69 or 70, which, yeah, that's not great, but it's not going to ruin your ticket, So I think if you have a floor like that and you do have the ability to go out there and shoot a 65, to me, that's great. The only other thing, he went on both Friday and Saturday on the stadium course. He had 11 of 14 fairways and 14 of 18 greens in regulation. So his ball striking is on point. It's just a matter of converting those scoring opportunities. And I think he's a good bet to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I had him in Showdown today. He was great for me. I do wonder about who's around that area for pricing. I think I would have to double check, but I kind of disagree with the chat right now. I think he might be pretty popular just because, especially early in the coverage, I feel like he was getting a lot. He was one of those guys early on that kind of really went out and got a lot of birdies early. I think he got 4 in a row, maybe even 5 before he slipped up before his first 9 ended. But yeah, I mean, just in terms of the play alone, not looking at ownership, I like where he's at. I like where he was coming in. I like where he still is with his play.
So just for your sake, we've got McNeely, we've got Griot at 87,
Griot will get some. Yeah.
Hadwin at 85, oh man, that was a disaster.
I don't think so.
Brandon Hagee at 84, Tringali at 83, Nick Taylor 82. So yeah, there's not a ton of names around there. He may attract a lot of people who do have money to spend, and it comes out in the mid 8s. I think Griot would be the one that will attract more than Harman around there.
Yeah, I think that's about right or about fair. My next pick, Gary Woodland, 7,500, 70. He's 10 under right now, 70, 68, 68, 17 birdies, 5 bogeys, 1 double. He's 10th looking at across his all-arounds and greens and regulation, 78% or just under. Looking at just Saturday, though, a stat I love seeing this on the stadium course on Saturday. Second in strokes gained tee to green, plus 4.14. He's the exact same price off Homa. He's 7,500. I mean, he's on feature coverage a little bit. It seemed like his putter was rolling really nice, even with that 70 on the stadium. I feel like it got a little bit cold with that 68. So if it can kind of all come together, his strokes gained, kind of his tee to green stats today, a putter that I think is there. Like, I mean, it has looked really good.
It's definitely there. Whether he hits the putts in the hole or not, I don't know.
Oh, that's a bad joke. That's a bad one.
No, I think the one concern I really had about Woodland was all this talk about his hip, and it seems like he's fine, but I just more like I don't know if he's had this dealt with or if he's just continuing to play with this injury, and it's a matter of a pain thing as opposed to actually limiting his mobility, flexibility.
If he's playing with it, he's playing pretty well. I mean,
yeah, and that's the thing.
His approach is really strong off the tee. He's, I think, still doing pretty decent. Yeah, I mean, so going into the tournament, I had him in my main lineup with EVR, and I figured Woodland was a bigger risk, so I went with EVR as a pick. He blew up today, but I don't know. I feel like Woodland's done enough in the first 3 rounds to convince me that.
Yeah, I like it. I've already put him in lineups for tomorrow. So it's just more I don't understand necessarily what's happening with the hip. He's
a desert golf guy too.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. I'm getting into a few of my well, this is a repeat actually from yesterday, but I'm going with some juicy vets for you here. Paul Casey, 7,800. He was 72 his first round, came out scorching hot, 65. I had him as a pick yesterday. I said maybe not quite 65, but I think he's going to do well. He was 68 today. Oh, and again, he's not -5. He's, let me see, quick math, 7-4. He's -11. So he's got an eagle, 11 birdies, 2 bogeys. One thing I really like, both of those bogeys were in the first round on the Nicklaus course. He has not made a bogey yet this week on the stadium course. Other thing I really like, he's doing everything well. Nice. So we only have the strokes gained data from the stadium course, but he's not relying on a hot putter. His ball striking is awesome. He is, his short game's in good shape, but it's not exactly like everything's coming on chipping in or everything's coming on draining long putts that are just variants. I think, to me, he's a very, very safe play with upside. And I think from the interview and what we're hearing, I think his game is coming back. And so when you get a Paul Casey at this kind of price, I'm going to keep plugging him in.
Yeah, I think he was 72 today, which seemed like a crazy price. 78 is still not enough bump up. Looking around him, we got EVR, we got Gim, we got John Han, Steele. Like, he's a different caliber player than
he's going to be in the 9,000s here in a few weeks if he continues to play well.
I mean,
just with the caliber of golfer he is.
If you take a single round, any one of those guys can beat him and be better. But if you take a
100
round sample, Paul Casey's going to be the best golfer the majority of the time.
Yeah.
I like it. He's in mine. My third and final play, going a little bit cheap for everyone here. Benny Ann at 6,800. I actually did have him in my round 1 showdown, so I've been kind of keeping an eye on him the whole time, playing that Nicklaus Stadium stretch there, but he went 65, 73, 67. He's 11 under right now, 17 birdies, 6 bogeys. Again, looking at the strokes gained tee to green performance on Saturday, he was 7th at plus 3.17, hitting the ball really well. On Wednesday, actually, I don't know if you heard this in the coverage, they said he lost all his balls and he had to borrow balls from his playing partner. So he was not doing well going in, but I think he's hitting the ball well now. I think he's
They didn't have like a rep at the course.
He had like 5 or 6 balls and he lost them all. I mean,
like in his Wednesday round. Oh, I thought you meant like he didn't have balls to start the tournament on Thursday.
I think he's a really nice pivot off and Sunday people look at the position of the players that they're in and ownership just really concentrate there. So Knox had a really good day today. A lot of people will go there. Rowinski, 6,500. I think a lot of people will go there. Benny Ann is a risky play. I'm not like, don't, this isn't for the faint of heart. He can go out and he can absolutely shoot a 76 and be way back on the leaderboard. But he's also a play here that can go out and shoot a 65 or 67 and completely make your lineups in a GPP.
Yeah. I like him. I do think he's risky. I've already plugged him into a lineup. And just, Myron, I'm going to get to that. We're going to get through our picks here, and then I'll get to that question because I think that's a good question.
Yeah, I agree.
My last one here, Francesco Molinari. I told you I had a couple juicy bets for you. I think Molinari comes in 7,600. I think he's another guy who his game, we're seeing a little bit of a return to form for him. Yeah. He went 69, 66, 69. 16 birdies, 2 bogeys, 1 double. I just think that to me it's the return to form narrative. We saw so little of him last year. I think that what we did see, it wasn't as bad as maybe it felt like, just because we had such little opportunities to see him play. Aside from his off the tee, which, I looked through it, it was not necessarily that like Hadwin, who made a mess of another one he hit in the hazard today. Molinari, it looks like he's just barely losing, and it looks like he's just gotten some off into the rough, and it's not exactly like he's spraying it or anything. He's just, he's not out there striping it, but still was hitting a decent amount of fairways today. I love the fact that his ball striking's in good shape. I love the fact that what he's done so far has not relied on short game. The one thing that does cause me a little bit of hesitancy is the best round we saw from him was on Nicklaus. We have yet to see him get as good of a score on the stadium course. But I was looking at it, his putting was better. Like, we don't have strokes gain putting, but in terms of his putts per GIR, it was much better that day. So I think it's just one of those things where you have a few more putts fall one day, then your score is going to be better. And I just think that the upside to me, as well as a safer floor, I like Molinari at 7,600.
Yeah, I mean, I think the floor is really good. He's broken 70 each day. Is it a little bit risky? Maybe it's not the sexiest play, but I like it. Yeah, he's in some of mine. I think he can pop, but it's a nice floor, and it's still a pretty decent ceiling, I think.
Yeah, and to me, it's similar to Casey. I think we're going to see him be more expensive a month from now, 2 months from now. So I want to get these guys. I want to get on their way up. I'm not gonna. I believe in their long-term years of form more than I believe in maybe we didn't see the best 2020 from them.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Craig. There's a question a little ways up. Strokes and approach.
Yeah. So to me, as much as I'm not necessarily emphasizing strokes and approach, I think to me it is still the most important ball striking stat. I think it's much more important than off the tee.
In general, in the game.
As a predictive stat for this course. So for the most,
okay.
Oftentimes I think off the tee is much more predictive for how someone's going to be able to score on a course. But I think at this course, I think it much more favors the accurate ball strikers. I think, to me, that is regardless of whether the wind or not. I still think that, and I don't know if you were here at the start, Myron, but that peak of wind late in the day, that does cause some consternation for me. And so, I do think you can we don't know when that is actually going to come. But
that's the thing. It could come an hour early. It could not show up at all, right?
It could show up later in the evening, and the guys can be done by then. But I think it makes a good argument with how much ownership is going to be loaded up on those top guys. It's a good argument to, maybe just one or two guys in a lineup. But maybe you take a few lineups where you just stack a bunch of people who are not necessarily highly positioned.
That's what I was
going
to say. So if you're building 5 lineups, let's say, if you build one so Cantlay is off at 10, and the leaders are off at 11. So you got an hour back from them, and you go from there to the start of tee times, just as kind of a contrarian. What if something does pick up? I mean, maybe you build this, you save it, and you build it an hour before tee off because that's what the weather looks like. I don't think that's the craziest idea. And along the strokes gain approach, I think it's very important to look at the micro and macro trends of it. So Cam Davis was plus 5.12 strokes gain approach today obviously he holed out. So there's a huge asterisk there. We can see when people have a chip in or two, their strokes in around the green goes way, 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 way up. So you gotta have to look at both kind of their form coming in and at the course, and if it kind of matches and it all syncs together, then I think it's a really telling stat.
Yeah, dark horse. I've just got tee times pulled up here. Dark horse. I think pick is an Abraham Answer, who will be in the third group out. Just
I mean,
because,
sure.
a guy like him, everyone else priced up where he is much higher in the leaderboard. So you compare, I think he had maybe 40% ish ownership in the contest I was in today. But I I like him. I like playing him if he's potentially playing in the best conditions. I mean, he shot 62 here last year. So and just real quick for Big R Colts fan, I have already plugged Gooch in. I think he is definitely an upside play. I have also plugged in both Doug Gim and Luke List. So one of the things I've looked at doing was just essentially the lineups I built so far. I've got a fairly tight core, and then I'm sprinkling them around with a bunch of different people. And those are all guys who have made the cut for me so far.
I think the other thing in terms of looking at the split, the tee times, is guys that go off 10. I think when they come in 7, 8, 9, it's less risky. I would have to check, but you don't have 17 there. You don't have 16, 17, 18, right? So if you are picking up win there, I know that's then the back of the
Yeah, I'm just trying
leaderboard.
to.
So
I haven't seen as much coverage on the front nine, so I don't know what those holes are. But I mean, obviously, 17, 16, and 17, I think there's huge. And 18, there's trouble front left, right, on 18?
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think there is some. Like, what was the hole that Sungjae got in trouble on today?
yeah. Now see now I kind of got in my head. Now I've lost maybe 9. I don't know.
9 there is definitely water. Um, 8 there's not.
So I think
7 there
Luke
is. So
again with
so I think, I mean, regardless, if there's wind, the course is tough. Yeah.
so yeah, Luke List. I think I mentioned yesterday if he's hitting fairways, I think it's a great play, but he just hasn't been hitting fairways in the last I don't know, year since the restart. Um, Great showdown play if he hits fairways. Absolutely scares me. Scares me as much as Benny had. Like
Yeah.
those guys definitely scare me.
I do like the Colts fan that you'd rather watch golf than NFL tomorrow. I also like that apparently Matt Stafford is going to be on the trading block, because that definitely piques my attention as a Colts fan. Um, Anyways, I've got a puppy upstairs who's yelping
Yep.
away and wants my attention. So we will see you guys next time. Good luck tomorrow, and let's go. Who are we cheering for? Siwoo Kim not to win, so you don't win the one and done.
No, of course we're cheering for Siwoo.
Oh,
Good
I
luck,
actually have him.
everyone.
I have him in some lineups, so I would like that actually.
Yeah, good luck. Hope the tickets cash. Who are you guys rooting for to win tomorrow? Craig's got Homa to win. I got Siwoo.
I'll definitely be rooting for Finau as well.
I would be
I
very happy as a fan. I have no money on it. I think DFS or otherwise, but if Finau wins, I would be
I think
happy as a golf
any
fan.
golf fan, it would be hard not to be happy if Finau is competitive or takes it down.
Siwoo, let's do it.
Okay, take care, guys. We'll see you next time.
See ya.